And now, a tale of epic proportions. Once upon a time, the king from Kingopolis and the queen from Queentopia fell madly in love and decreed they would marry. "This marriage will finally unite our realms," said the queen. "Huzzah! Hooray! Callooh! Calais!" said the rejoicing subjects. In order for the couple to make a proper royal procession through both territories, a bridge needed to be built across the river between them. "But how high to build the bridge?" said the royal engineers. The king and queen discussed it and agreed that 12 feet high was a noble height for a bridge. They ordered their respective royal engineers to make it so. "Oh yes, quite right, make it so." The queen's engineers began building from Queentopia, the king's engineers from Kingopolis, and the plan was to meet in the middle. All was merriment and joy and anticipation, for the king and queen decided that they would marry upon the day of completion. Alas, it was not long before discord was introduced to the land, for as the bridge neared completion, the peoples began to realize that each side of the bridge was not the same height. As is usual in these matters, they began to blame each other. "Why have you not built the bridge 12 noble feet high?" said the Queentopian engineer.
"What? Of course we have. Why have you not built the bridge 12 noble feet high?"
replied the Kingopolic engineer. Things went back and forth like this until it got nasty. Someone from Kingopolis said something about someone from Queentopia's mother, and well, before you know it, everyone was at each other's throats over the whole thing. The king and queen were dismayed and worried that their union must be renounced to save the peace. Worse, the bridge left a lot to be desired. "Oh, woe is me! What shall we do?" said the king, in grief, and head hung low. He noticed how terrible his feet looked, so he decided to calm himself with a pedicure. "Oh, drat and confound! This situation and my toes are in terrible state," said the queen, also deciding on a pedicure. And good thing, too, for whilst the royal pair were soaking their royal bunions, the royal pedicurist solved the problem. He remembered that in these lands they measured a foot by the actual size of their king's or queen's foot. "Oh, I say, your feet are different sizes," said the royal pedicurist. "By Jove," said the queen. "Oh, that's it," said the king.
"It is clear the bridge needs to be rebuilt. But which regent's foot to measure by?" asked the engineers. "We shall build the bridge to 12 king's feet," shouted the king's engineers. "No, treasonous! We shall use the queen's feet. That's how we're used to measuring," voiced the queen's engineers. "Stop arguing. Okay, look, let's talk feet," said the pedicurist. And everyone stopped to listen, because if anyone knew feet, it was the pedicurist. "We just need to know how to convert to each other's units of measurement. You see, 2 queen's feet is the same as 3 king's feet." "Yes, but how does that help us?" "We need to know how many queen's feet is 12 king's feet."
"And 4 queen's feet is the same as 6 king's feet." "That's no help. We need to know how many king's feet is 12 queen's feet. And 6 queen's feet is the same as 9 king's feet." "Oh, that's not helpful. Why are you telling us this? Please bear with me. Now you see, we can plot this information on a graph. 2 queen's feet equals 3 king's feet. 4 queen's feet equals 6 king's feet. And 6 queen's feet equals 9 king's feet. Now, your majesties, you'll see that there is a pattern here. These points actually form a straight line. If we follow the line over to 12 queen's feet, we see that 12 queen's feet equals 18 king's feet." "Oh, yes, but what if we want to know how many queen's feet is 12 king's feet?" "Oh, I know. Just follow the line up to 12 king's feet. It looks like 12 king's feet is the same as 8 queen's feet." "Ah, the answer to all our problems," said someone. "Like drapery measurements," cried the curtain maker. "And allocating land," sobbed the land allocator. "And foot-long hot dogs," burped the sports fan. Henceforth in the territories, all subjects specified queen's feet or king's feet in all dealings with measurement. They learned how to convert units, and the people lived happily ever after. "Greetings, rulers! Let us unite and build a new bridge between our lands," said Duke Good Arches, from the sovereignty of Large Hooves. Oh, here we go again.